Hey Rob, how you doing?
How's it going, Paul? Mr. Paul Adams. How
There
you
we
doing?
go. Yeah, well, you've got two Mr. Paul Adamses in your life, haven't you? That's. I mean, that's something to be proud of, right?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it actually. Right when I sent my bass player Paul Adams, who I also affectionately refer to as Mr. Paul Adams,
It's a good name.
a copy to your podcast. I was like, check this dude out, and he replied. I think he said, "There's only one Paul Adams."
And I said there can be only one as well. The funny thing is, you've never seen us in the same room together. Just pointing that out.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So I owe you a lot of residuals for bass playing on my album then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because I've got another two Paul Adams that I'm friends with as well, which is just bizarre. One's quite famous and one's a fisherman, who's quite famous as well. But there we go. So anyway, enough about me, Rob. Welcome to You Country, the country music show that's all about you, kinda. Tell people who you are.
Okay, so I am a guitar player, singer, songwriter who absolutely adores country music, but I was born 3,000 miles in the wrong direction. So I jumped on the plane and went over to Nashville to write and record my new album. And yeah, I'm loving the community that I've discovered since going to Nashville on both sides of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
It's such a great, warm, friendly bunch of people, both the musicians and the fans. And yeah, I sort of I dipped my toe into country because I was always a little bit unsure about whether I could really truly be a country music artist. When I
Okay.
started doing this, I was influenced greatly by country from the start. But I realized that I should just embrace it, and over the last couple of years, obviously the UK country thing has just
Yeah. Tell me about it.
gone crazy, and I finally feel brave enough. I'm with my peeps, I'm with my guys, so I've stepped fully into those cowboy boots now.
So that brings me brilliantly to the first question. So what makes you country?
Well, I've spoke to a lot of people about this, and I think for me, the thing that makes country music great is the authenticity. The landscape of the music, obviously, there's a certain musicality
Yeah.
to it, which of course is not based in geography. That's based in this landscape, as I call it. The slide, the pedal steels, the guitars, the mood, the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But I think all that's great, but if you don't have the authenticity, then I think that is you're never going to truly be country. So what I've done with my music is I've sang about the things and spoke about the things that are real to me. The things that I've faced. So lyrically, I'm very much a British guy from the north who grew up in a
Well.
council house and
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of money or anything like that, but was very happy and very surrounded by love and music. And I've mirrored that and married that to the the record collection that I grew up listening to, which was Hank Williams and Johnny Cash and the Eagles. So yeah, I think that's what makes me country is my music headspace is Nashville, but my words, my reflections, my sort of frame of reference is very much, the north of England.
So you're a council estate cowboy. I'm the same, so I
Council
can
house
say
country.
council house country. Ah, okay, that's a new one. I'm still in a council place, but we won't go there. So
Nothing wrong with that.
no, absolutely, and we it sounds like we've had a kind of similar upbringing as well. Single mother, there was four of us in total, so I get where you're coming from. And avoiding country at all costs. Born in Texas, avoided country completely, and then ended up embracing it completely. I noticed that you've referenced your grandfather as sort of one of your heroes, both musically and personally. So can you tell us a little bit about him and how he affected your music and then and now?
Yeah, so I think like one of the things that happens is like if you're a kid that grows up without a dad, you tend to collect father figures. And my granddad was just this very big, physically and emotionally, a presence in my life. He was this old school club land musician. Now, clubland, for those of your listeners that are not in the UK, is this strange circuit of venues, predominantly in the north. There are some in the south of England as well, where the old school guys who used to go and work in the mines and in the pits and in the pot banks at the weekend would go out with their families, and they would go to these specific club venues where they would have entertainment, food, drink, bingo, quizzes, all this kind of stuff. And it was a way of blowing off steam. They're still around, not as busy and as well attended as they used to be. But my granddad in the 50s, 60s, and 70s used to play the clubs, and he was going around, and he was a big fan of George Formby. So he had a banjo ukulele. So my granddad, a little bit like Jim Royal in the Royal Family, would sit in his chair and he'd be playing, banjo ukulele songs. And just the idea of gigging and playing songs was something I was aware of from like as soon as I could, walk and talk. I knew what it was to be a gigging musician. And then my uncles, they played in bands. They were like more into rock music.
Yeah.
So they were influenced by him. He encouraged them to get into music, and then we were encouraged to get into music. And then there's another generation again. I think in total there's about 8 or 9 of us that all in the family that either play or sing. And in a strange way, it's like all my family are very much into rock music. And usually to be into rock music makes you the black sheep of the family. But like I'm the guy who's into country and folk. I'm the odd one out. But that connects me back to my granddad, because my granddad, he loves like Jim Reeves and Hank Williams and stuff like that. So like we share that passion for the old, beautiful old songs, of the 50s and 60s. He loves Elvis and stuff like that. So yeah, he was a big influence on me in that way, and he really is. He's like my dad, really. He sort of raised me up.
So do you think that you were born in the wrong decade?
Yeah, I think all us country musicians think that, though, don't we? Yeah. We all want to be, sort of strutting down Broadway in 1972, don't we? Really, if not earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I was always a massive like fan of the 50s rock and roll and like the crossover with country and that. I say always been a fan. I always avoided the country bit, but it's But then we're creating a new thing here in the UK. So who knows? This could be the 1972 strutting down Broadway for us. Do you know what I mean?
In 20 years' time, people are going to be reflecting back on the golden era of 2024. In the UK country scene.
when all those weird people were wearing cowboy hats and cowboy boots, you wouldn't catch me dead in them now. No, I'm joking. Yeah. So I've asked you to pick 3 songs for the podcast playlist that's on Spotify. We used to play it on the show, but Spotify decided to get rid of that feature, so now we're kind of doing a Room 101 thing.
Ooh.
So what's your first song that you're going to drop into the podcast?
So Gallows Humor. This is a song that was released on an EP. I've done 2 EPs where they were themed around my 2 favorite holidays, Christmas and Halloween.
Perfect.
And I'm just a big child.
Yeah.
But I love Halloween, and I tell you what, the first time that I went to Nashville, I actually went at Halloween. It was great fun. Yeah. It was like to see all the houses decorated with 20-foot skeletons. It was brilliant. Yeah. But one of the things that I'm fascinated in, aside from loving Halloween, is I love a good ghost story, or I love a bit of folklore. And when that's combined with some real history as well, and the legends combined. So I did 2 EPs that were based around sort of local legends near to me. And Gallows Humor is based on the story of John Nadin. John Nadin was the last man to be hung in Staffordshire.
Okay.
And what had happened is, as the story goes, he had conspired with his boss's wife to murder him and then run away and take all the money. So John murdered the boss. The wife grassed him in, She got rid of the boss and him, kept all the money, and John was hung for the crime. That's the brief version
Yeah.
of the story. Anyway, and so I wrote a song that's based around that, and that's Gallows Humor, and it sort of tells the story of how John was sort of led astray
Yeah.
by his lust and his greed.
A story that defines time, I'm sure, because that's come up quite a number of times, isn't it? So, well, thank you for that. We'll get to the other songs in a moment. So, I notice you've got some big names from Nashville that you've been working with over the time. Who are they, and how did they come about? Obviously, I know who they are. The audience doesn't.
Yes, it was the first time I was sort of heading out to Nashville. The plan was that we were going to write and record the album. So it wasn't a case of just suck it and see. We put together a plan of how we were going to do it. And I was very fortunate that during lockdown, when I was recording 10 Embers, it kind of sounds bad, really, because I don't wish to profit from the disaster that COVID was. But it was a case of make the best of the situation we got. And one of the nice things that happened with COVID was that we all got a bit more time at home.
Yeah.
All of us, even the best touring musicians in the world, including Sheryl Crow's drummer, Fred Eltringham, who is normally so busy. This guy plays on everyone's records. He's played with Chris Stapleton, Willie Nelson. He's even been Ringo Starr's drummer, which is a huge compliment.
And which is a kind of oxymoron in itself as well, which is bizarre.
Yeah. Ringo needs a drummer. Of course he does. Call Fred.
Who's the best drummer in the Beatles? Well, it's not Ringo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Fred. So, but Fred, I'd seen Fred do the Sheryl Crow NPR Tiny Desk gig, and I just was so enamored with his drums. You know, he's such an NPR shows all the nuances up because it's so intimate.
Yeah.
There's no room for error. You've got to show it all there. And I just loved he's such a melodic drummer. So I did some research on him. He's won the ACM Drummer of the Year. He's been nominated every year since. He's just a beautiful guy, lovely guy. So I reached out to him and just said, look, I don't know what your plans are for the next few weeks, but I would love to have you drum on my album. I probably can't afford you. What can we do? And he just listened to what we'd done so far on the 10 Embers record, and he was into it, and he drummed on it, and we cut the record. He would record at night, my night, his day.
Yeah.
And I would wake up in the morning, there'd be files waiting for me, and I would be here in my studio, download them, and I'd be chopping away, send any notes back, and sometimes in one take, he would get the track down. He's such a great drummer. We followed that up by saying, look, we're making a new record. This is going to be my fully fledged, real first country album. Would you like to play on it again? So, we want to arrange the time with you. You're going to be back on tour now. And he said, look, man, don't do the way we did it before. Come to Nashville. We can smash the whole album out in 3 days.
Wow.
So I was like, that sounds great. So as soon as I knew I was coming on the plane and we had that foundation that we were going, I'd already written 4 or 5 songs myself. I wanted to bring in some collaborators to the record. So my publishers and my label started speaking to people. And that's when we got in touch with Jeff Trott. That came through Sheryl Crow. Obviously, Jeff's been involved with Cheryl's career from pretty much day one. He's written some of her biggest records. And so we had a great chat with Jeff, and we explained what we were trying to do. Jeff's a big Anglophile. He loves British music, and he lived in London for a time.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so he was in World Party with your man who wrote all Robbie Williams tracks.
Glenn. That's all I can say is his name's Glenn. I can't remember his name. I was going to say
not coming back to me.
It's not Glenn Fry,
yeah.
Yeah.
Not Glenn. Well, anyway, we've embarrassed ourselves enough that we can't remember his name. Let's move on. But anyway,
I'll research while you're speaking because it's going to bug me.
It's on the tip of my tongue and it's going to bug me. But Jeff was in World Party for a time and he lived in London. So we had a bit in common, and we knew a few, we had a few cross-reference people that we knew. And I went over to Jeff's studio, and I had this idea of writing a song that was about me going to Nashville.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to address the idea that, look, I know I'm not from Alabama. I'm not from Texas. I'm not from Tennessee. You know, this is a dream to be here. I want to write a song about that, and that's my Nashville song. And me and Jeff wrote that together. And then I got working with a guy called Steve Dorff,
Yes.
the great Steve Dorff. Now, that was a strange one because I was introduced to Steve by a music journalist called Larry LeBlanc, who's been very supportive of my previous albums. And he said, "Hey, look, if you're going to Nashville, you need to meet my mate Steve." And there was a
Everyone
really
says
strange.
Everyone says you got to meet my mate Steve in Nashville.
There's a lot of them. There was a real serendipity moment though with Steve Dorff, because Steve Dorff's he's got two sons. The great Andrew Dorff, who sadly passed away. Andrew was a great songwriter based out of Nashville, country songwriter, just like his dad. And then he has Stephen Dorff, the actor, who's been in Blade and
I didn't realise they were connected.
yeah, Stephen Dorff is Steve Dorff Jr., as it were.
Okay.
When Andrew passed away, Steve and Stephen collaborated on a film which was kind of based around Andrew's life, and it's the idea of this guy going to Nashville to have one last go as making it as a recording artist. And the film is called Wheeler, which I just couldn't believe. And we watched this film before I went, and we couldn't believe it. So I got in touch with Steve Dorff. I said, this is so strange. And he said, you know, obviously I was aware, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. But then obviously I go to Nashville, I meet Steve, and we wrote a song called Something About Your Eyes, which is just I wanted to write with Steve something that I knew he was really in his wheelhouse, which is those classic country ballads. And he's done it for George Strait, he's done it for Kenny, he's done it for Willie. Steve's just a real seasoned writer. And he just gets it straight away. So I mean, again, it was wonderful to go to Steve's house, to his studio, to hang out with him. And I've been back a couple of times since, and we've written a few more songs together, which are going to be on future albums. So we've established a great friendship there, and I love Steve a lot. He's a wonderful guy.
Excellent. And of course, that kind of brings it to something a little bit later on. Stephen Dorff playing, of course, Stuart Sutcliffe in Backbeat.
Yeah.
So it's all nice circle. By the way, it was Guy Chambers. It wasn't Glenn.
Chambers.
Glenn is Alanis Morissette, so I got that completely confused. So Rob, we're going to go to song 2 now. What's the second song that you're going to be dropping into the podcast playlist on Spotify, and why?
Okay, so Ain't No Loving You was a track on my 10 Embers album, and I just like it. It's just a bit of fun. It's kind of like a bit tongue-in-cheek, the idea that it doesn't matter what I do, I'm probably going to get it wrong and annoy my wife. And I think that's true for a lot of guys. So yeah, it was actually inspired by my mum, because she kept getting told by a string of ex-boyfriends that it's not you, it's me.
I thought you were going to say it's your son.
I was just like, wouldn't it be refreshing if one of them actually just said, "It's not me, it's you."
Yeah. In fact, every girlfriend I've had has said that.
It's not me, Paul.
Yeah, it's you. You're just weird.
Sort your life out, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was really cool about this song? So, like, I am a huge fan of John Mayer.
Yeah. Okay.
I love him to bits. I know that there's some people who think he's like maybe a bit cheesy from his early records.
It's not easy being
some
cheesy.
People that think he's kind of more famous in the UK for his string of celebrity ex-girlfriends, I think, than he is for his music. But that guy can write a song and he can play. And when he did his live Blu-ray and album, Where the Light Is, he did a cover of Free Falling, which obviously everyone, I think, is probably his most famous song in the UK. And he has a great Dobra player on there called Robbie McIntosh, and Robbie's based in Cornwall. Well, I was very honoured to be able to work with Robbie on this track, and he played Dobra on this track, and he also played Dobro on the track that me and Steve Dorff wrote, Something About Your Eyes. So he's a featured artist on the new record as well.
Fantastic.
I have always enjoyed this song very much. I'm very proud of Ain't No Loving You. But when Steve sent me his Dobra track, I was that was it. It elevated it, you know. And I think that's what great musicians
Yeah.
do is they don't just they don't steal the show, but they elevate the track.
Yeah, absolutely. They enhance everything.
And
don't they?
for me, you can take my vocals off this track and just listen to it and enjoy it. And I think it's probably better because it really brings out the playing, Robbie's playing, and he is literally one of the greatest guitar players in the world. If you can get in John Mayer's band as a guitar player, you know you're good.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's Ain't No Loving You. It's a cheesy little funny tongue-in-cheek love song with a great guest artist in Robbie McIntosh.
Well, there you go. That's dropped in to the playlist. There's going to be some graphic at some point in the future where it's like amazing, but at the moment it's dropped in. There we go. But yeah, I know what you mean. In regards to that, I had Stephen Hicken Jr. He's from round up the northeast. Pedal Steel on my last single, and just
Oh yeah, Steve's great.
just blew.
I should introduce you to my friend Steve.
yeah. I got a friend called Steve who lives up north. Right. Okay. Well, that you know what's going to be next, though, Rob. Right.
Oh no, is this the quiz?
It's time to find out. What do they know? So, Rob, you are now sitting in the quiz booth. You can't see it, but you will do when you're on Spotify. It's all purple and sparkly. I say Spotify, I mean YouTube, and you won't see me, which is probably for the best for everybody watching. That's fine. No, that's good because I'm wearing my glasses again, and I made a mistake of keeping them on yesterday. But hey, there we go. Right, so we are playing What Do They Know? So this is the quiz, kind of like Mastermind, where I'm going to ask you questions on your chosen subject, and it's going to be a 2-minute round. And I just ask as many questions as I can get in those 2 minutes. So, Rob, what is your chosen subject? And I like this one.
I have gone for the Beatles.
So, I'm expecting that this is going to go quite well. So, there are, I think there's 20 questions, right? So I think that we're going to do well on this one. Our leader,
no pressure then.
no pressure. Our leader on this at the moment is Sammy Saravia. She has.
I know. She's got 15.
So
I watched it.
Yeah,
Dirty Dancing.
Yes.
Dancing, Dirty Dancing. And I tell you what I will say. I watched it and she got one question wrong.
I know.
In her time. So by that rationale, I need to get every single question right to stand any chance of beating that score.
And I will try and get those questions out as quickly as possible. There is multiple choice, and then there isn't multiple choice. So just to speed things up. So, are you sitting comfortably, Rob?
I'm very nervous. I've got butterflies.
Oh, no, it's only me, as James O'Brien would say. Right, okay, here we go then. If you're ready, we'll start now. What album is also known as the White Album? Is it Revolver, Abbey Road, The Beatles?
The Beatles.
That's correct. Who was the last member to join the Beatles?
Ringo Starr.
That's correct. What song was inspired by Mia Farrow's sister? Was it Dear Prudence, Julia?
Dear Prudence.
That's correct. Which song was their first song to feature a string quartet? Was it Yesterday, Eleanor Rigby, She's Leaving Home?
Yesterday.
That's correct. Who wrote the majority of Come Together?
John Lennon.
That's correct. Which was the first album released as a double EP?
Magical Mystery Tour.
That's incorrect. What was the first track on the album Revolver?
Taxman.
That's correct. Which song was a tribute to their early days in Hamburg, Germany? Was it Something, Back in the USSR, Ballad of John and Yoko, or Komm gib mir deine Hand? I can't pronounce it.
Come give me a deine Hand.
That's the one. Which song features the line, woke up, fell out of bed, dragged my comb across my head?
A Day in the Life.
That's correct. Who played the guitar solo on While My Guitar Gently Weeps?
Eric Clapton.
That's correct. What was the first single released under the Apple Records label? Was it Hey Jude, Lady Madonna, Revolution, or Get Back?
Hey Jude.
That is correct. Which album is the first to be recorded, the last to be recorded but not the last released? Was it Let It Be, Abbey Road, Magical Mystery Tour, or Sgt. Pepper's?
Abbey Road.
That is correct. Which song does Paul McCartney sing when I find myself in times of trouble?
Let It Be.
That's correct. Which Beatles member was the primary vocalist on Octopus's Garden?
Ringo Starr.
That's correct. Which song was played during the final moments of their rooftop concert? Was it Don't Let Me Down, Get Back, Let It Be, or I Want You She's So Heavy?
Get Back.
That's correct. Who was the main author of Something?
George Harrison.
That's correct. Which album features Norwegian wood? Is it Revolver, Rubber Soul?
Rubber Soul.
That's correct. What was the title of the first Beatles song to feature Ringo Starr? That's the timer, but we'll do that. We can finish that question. What was the title of the first Beatles song to feature Ringo Starr? I can't even read it. As the lead vocalist. Was it
Boys?
Wow, that is correct. Wow. Okay, so that was quick. I suppose you'd like to know your score, wouldn't you? So obviously Tennessee Twins stayed at the top for a very, very long time with 14 points. They were knocked off a few weeks, not knocked off, but like their points were knocked off by Sammy Sorovia with 15. You got one question wrong there. You needed to get every single question right. Rob, you got 17 points. You are now the leader on what do they know? Man, that was unbelievable, man. Well done. Right, okay, so which one did you get wrong? The album that was first released as a double EP was the White Album, the Beatles.
That's not an EP, that's an album.
Did I say EP? No, I said LP. I did say LP. I just said EP then, though. If I said EP,
as I have,
if I said
I'm sure
EP,
you said EP.
I will go back. If I've made the mistake and said EP, I will give you that extra point. But we will go. I'll go back in and have a look, and I'll let you know at the end. So at the moment,
I would be very,
17.
very, very proud if you did, because I think that I'd have 100%. But yeah, I think that because I think you said EP, but I could have misheard it. So please, if I have, I apologise.
We'll have a steward's inquiry. But either way, man.
Okay, great. Yeah.
If it's 17 points, yeah. Can we just stop the show just for a second? If it's 17 points, that's great in itself. If it's 18, I'll be amazed. And it's made my job a lot harder because it means I'm going to have to start writing even more questions because I have to do all those myself. But Rob, well done. That was truly
Thank
amazing.
you very much.
So sorry, Sammy.
I'm so thrilled because I thought no one was going to beat Sammy. I thought no one's beating that.
Well, this is the thing. Like, this bar keeps getting moved up, and it's like, how are we going to beat this? So yeah, we're definitely going to have a Champions League at some point.
Can I just say, golf clap for the question, who played the solo on My Guitar Gently Weeps? That's a great question. Well done, Sol.
Because everybody's automatically going to think it's George, right?
Yeah.
So, but there we go. So there we go. Congratulations on that.
I got 7 pills to take, and I take them all by noon. You got rings around your eyes again, staring at the moon. And I got a loose change in my pocket, really nothing else. But I can draw a perfect love heart in the dust upon the shelf. So I say we need tomorrow, and we don't come back again, never again. I say we need tomorrow, and we don't come back again, never again. We got everything we need in the backseat of my car. We can drive until we're empty, only stop to watch the storm. Maybe find a little chapel with Elvis on the door. I say we need tomorrow, and we don't come back again, never again. Say we leave tomorrow, and we don't come back again, never again. I say we leave tomorrow, and we don't come back again, never again, no. I say we leave tomorrow, and we don't come back again. I say we leave tomorrow.
For those of you that stick around for Spotify playlist, song number 3 now. What's the song that we're dropping into that playlist now?
Okay, so I'm going to totally change the vibe now. It's
you
been
gotta bring
all
it down.
celebratory and all happy. So You'll Hear the Ocean. So when I was obviously, as you'll know yourself, growing up in a single parent family, what does tend to happen is you get raised by the family.
Yeah.
Because mom has to go to work, right? She can't stay at home. So my mom was the same. She was working 3 jobs at one point.
Yeah.
So most, days, holidays, stuff like that, we'd be with my gran, and she was like a second mum to me and to my brother, and she had this unique ability to only ever see the good and the magic in the world. I've never met anyone else like her.
It's nice to hear.
And it's the biggest lesson she taught me was to always see the good in the world. So literally do take the time to smell flowers and to watch birds fly and to look at the butterflies and try and always keep that. It's not just for kids, it's for us as well. We live in a very horrible world, but we also live in a very beautiful world on a very beautiful planet that we need to take care of. I don't want to go all Greta Thunberg eco-warrior, but it is beautiful and we should look after it. And I think if we take a moment to enjoy it, but not only that, but my gran also had this ability to sort of keep the magic alive in things. And one of the things, and I use it as an example in this song, is that if you hold a seashell up to your ear, that noise is the seashore. That's what my gran used to. If you listen, you can hear the ocean coming in. And oh man, I'm getting choked up.
Don't worry.
And so she would say, and I just love that, and I feel very privileged that I've been able to retain a small part of myself that isn't totally cynical. I can still pick up a seashell and go, that's the seaside. I can still see a face in a tree and go, I wonder if that tree's haunted. You know what I mean? And even if it's just being silly for the sake of being silly, something I know you appreciate yourself.
Yeah.
That's a great way to be. And it makes you have an imagination. And that can only make you a better songwriter and a better person and a kinder person and have more sympathy and empathy for people and things. And my gran taught me all of that. And I wanted to capture that in a song. So that's what this next song is. It's called You'll Hear the Ocean. And it's about trying to find the magic in the world and remember that it's always there. There is an added thing to this in that she's on the record.
Okay.
During COVID, I got my granddad to record her into WhatsApp saying a little phrase that she used to say to us before bed, which was, close your peepers and go to sleepers. And she says it right at the end of the track. And that was the last track of the album. It kind of closed the album, 10 Embers. And then another level again. And this is the toughest bit of all. we literally lost her a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
She
Sorry to
passed
hear
away after a short illness, and I'm so pleased she's on the song because she's there forever now, you know, and of course she's here forever. But I love the fact that she can say to the whole world, anytime, any day, close your peepers and go to sleepers. And I love that. I'm so glad that I did it and that
Good.
it kept her alive, you know, in that little moment. And so it's a song that used to be about my gran. It's now dedicated to my gran, and she's in it. She's the guest artist. She's up there with Jeff Trott and Steve Dorff and all the other greats.
More important though than them though. That's you know. Sorry guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just the truth of it.
They would agree with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a tough few weeks because we've been adjusting to this huge gap that's appeared in our lives. She was, you know, and I'm not unique in this. We spoke about this before we spoke to each other. You know, you've recently gone through a very similar time.
Yeah.
You can't replace them, can you? You
No.
feel the void. You feel the that pain doesn't go. I think we're lucky because what we can do is we can channel that
Yeah.
into our songs. We can channel it into performances, and we can try and find a creative way to deal with the pain and the grief.
Yeah.
But I think what's kind of cool is if you're not that way inclined and you're looking for a way to channel some grief, of course, a lot of people do turn to music, and it's nice that they can share, they can take something from these songs.
Yeah.
And I hope people do take that from You'll Hear the Ocean. It's like grief, but the reason you're grieving is because of all of the love. And that can only be a beautiful thing.
That's nicely put. Well, there we go. That's You Can Hear the Ocean. That's the
You'll
correct
Hear the
term.
Ocean.
You'll Hear the Ocean, and that's dropping in to the playlist now. So, Rob, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure, man. It's like literally. I'm not saying it hasn't been a pleasure with other people, but I think we've connected we've connected, but not in that way. Don't worry about that.
Oh, man,
but like,
totally, man.
we've connected.
I feel the same way. And thank you so much, man, because, you know, I think people got to remember that, like, without things like this, what you're doing and the dedication, I know you don't make any money out of this. This is totally something that you're doing to support people like me who are up and coming. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And I think we all do. So, you know, keep doing what you're doing, because it's great to give people like us a platform. New fans can hear us, and, you know, without this, we're just singing in our bedrooms.
I'm still singing in my bedrooms. It's been 30 years, but you know, I'm getting there. I'm going to be an overnight success by the time I'm 60, so it's good. We'll get there. We'll have to collaborate on something at some point, man, because I'd love to work with you.
Love to
bring you down for a show or something. What's next for you? There is actually one more question I missed off this list. Actually, I'm going to backpedal. So.
Okay.
If you could choose someone that you would like to open for and someone who you would like to open for you, who would they be? So there we go.
Okay.
That's a new kind of
Is this like... Okay, so obviously I can't just answer the question straight. I have to complicate it. Can it be anyone from ever? Like, can it be like a totally fantasy thing?
Yeah.
Because can you imagine opening for Hank Williams? Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Like, and then it just go for a beer afterwards. Do you know what I mean? That would be so cool. But I think, you know, now, do you know, honestly, like, I'm such a big fan of Brad Paisley. I love the way that he sets his punchlines in his lyrics. I think he's such a clever writer.
And he's a silly
Me
guy
neither.
as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just got such a lovely sense of humor, and he's so self-deprecating. He's almost got a British sense of humor.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like, and I like that about sort of like Tennessee and Alabama. They kind of got a similar sense of humor to us. They're a little bit more self-deprecating, aren't they, in the South? And I just think, like, I think I just hit it off with Brad. I think he's a cool guy, you know. And Me Neither is one of my favorite songs of all time. I think it's so funny. He's chatting this girl up in a bar, and he keeps going over and saying, "Do you want to dance?" He's like, "Me neither." You know, it's so clever. So I'd love to open for Brad. I think that would be great. And then open for me. I'm always a big fan. I think it's really cool if you have a male headliner to have the opening be a female, and if it's a female headliner, have the opening be a male. I kind of like that. I think it adds a lot of richness of point of view. And I'm very fortunate, and this is not just a plug. One of my favorite artists is Daisy Shoot. She is incredible.
Yeah.
The song
She is.
"Woman" by Daisy Shoot is my absolute pick. If you want to hear a new song and you know it's not getting enough attention, "Woman" by Daisy Shoot is epic. It is a beautiful. It should win an Ivor Novello. That song should. And Daisy is opening for me at the Assembly Rooms, and we've never gigged together. We've written songs together, but we've
Really?
never gigged together. And we're playing the Assembly Rooms in Melbourne in November, and it'll be me and Daisy as my special guest. So the person I would like to open for me is Daisy, and it's happening in November.
Fantastic. Yeah, Daisy's a nice girl as well. We've had a couple of conversations at Goes Back.
So great. She is so great. I cannot speak highly enough of her. She's everything an artist should be.
And that's conveyed by a lot of people that do the same sort of thing as me that have had a chance to speak to her as well. So, tell you what, we'll drop "Woman" into the podcast as well.
Please do. It's such a brilliant song.
There we go, Daisy.
It's so clever.
So the question is, what's next? What's next for Rob Wheeler? Obviously, you've got some stuff coming up, but this is your time to plug yourself.
Yeah. So okay. So the obviously the album is done. It's imminent. Leave tomorrow. I'm so proud of it.
I have a copy of it, but I'm not sharing it with anyone.
Don't. We have non-fungible tokens. We'll get them up on the website. So the album's going to be coming out. We've got a few singles preceding it, and the first one of those is "Leave Tomorrow," and that's going to be coming out in September. Yep. I've got a photo shoot, darling. I'm going to be voguing next week, and we're going to get the album cover and the singles covers, so they're going to be ready to go. And then I've got some shows at the back end of this year. I'm playing 2 shows at the Assembly Rooms. One is my show with Daisy, as mentioned.
What date was that? November?
That's November 9th.
November 9th.
So tickets are available now, just on the website and everywhere else. And then in December, I'm going back as a special guest for Ashley Campbell.
Oh, nice.
Which I really can't wait for. Yeah, so we're doing a show together. Wow. And then that's really cool because it's actually Campbell Jensen, the duo with Thor Jensen.
Okay.
And then in January, myself and the guys, Campbell Jensen, are flying out to Ireland to Shows Your Roots, where we're showcasing new music over there. That's going to be a great gathering. Really excited for that. And then round about March time, it will be the official release of the album.
Okay.
It's ready to go now, but I want it to release in the summer. I want there to be at least a little bit of sun peeking. Not that we've had any kind of summer this year.
I don't know. The last 2 days have been like it, although they've been gloomy, but they've been hot. Yeah, muggy.
Yeah, it's like muggy, isn't it?
Muggy.
Yeah, it's really muggy. There's a northern word for it. But I just kind of feel like the vibe of this album is very much like, it's all about like just jumping in the car and escaping, and just going and trying something, whatever that is, and turn the phone off and just get the music on, turn it up, Route 66 or M6, whatever you like. Just get the tunes on, turn them up, and that's what this album is. It's like really. So I felt like it was right to release it, at the start of the spring summer sort of season, so that it can hopefully become a soundtrack while people go on their adventures. I'd love that.
Perfect. Well, we look forward to that. And what are your socials, man?
Okay, so at Rob Wheeler Songs for everything.
That's perfect.
And you can. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Threads. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Rightmove. I'm on
Rightmove.
I'm on. What else am I on? Everything.
That got me. That's the first time I've heard that one. So thanks for that.
I'm gonna get my estate agent's license and just anything. Just we have to be on everything now. The only thing I'm not on actually is TikTok.
Mate, you need to get on TikTok.
I know people keep telling me, and I'm a bit. My manager pulls her hair out at me about it a little bit because I know I should be on it. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know.
It's not. I
don't know what it is.
It's not all silly dances and miming anymore. Honestly.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. It's more like the old days of YouTube.
Okay, great. So maybe it's time then for me to make this video for you, and we'll launch it on TikTok.
I'll tell you what, because what I do is I cut this up and I've started putting them on TikTok now. So there you go. So get on TikTok so I can tag you in it.
Yeah, great. Okay,
there you go.
done.
There you go. And yeah, your manager can thank me later. Rob, so we always start off with what makes you country. It's not a trademark, but I might as well make it a faux trademark. And my other trademark question is, what question do you wish I'd asked?
Is that naturally blonde, or are they highlights?
Do the drapes match? No, we won't go to that one. Is that naturally blonde?
No. I don't know. I've got to say, I think you've asked some really interesting questions, and I love that you asked me about my granddad and stuff, because he really is as much an influence to me as most of the records in my record collection.
Yeah.
But I think that the thing about, I'm getting used to this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm still getting used to this, being asked questions, and sort of, I guess I never really thought I'm like that interesting that people would want to ask questions to me about stuff, but it's really nice. Do you know what I mean? That I feel like this is a new sort of era in my music, where I'm finally sort of coming to terms with the fact that, people are starting to realize who I am and what I do and what my songs are. So any question that I get asked, I just feel is a privilege, because I feel like, okay, great, this is where we are now, Because once upon a time, the questions I was being asked were, does that come with fries, or do I have to pay for them separately?
Do you want fries with that? That's old Tim McGraw there. Coming in. Great song. If you've not heard that as well, do you want fries with that? It's a
great I'm a big fan of Tim McGraw. Yeah, and Steve Dorff recently wrote his new EP has got a Steve Dorff song on it, and I got a chance to listen to it before it was released. Perfect. I was like in the studio, mouth on floor. So, but yeah, so no, I look, any question I'm being asked is a great question, because it just reminds me that I'm on this journey, and
Okay,
amazing.
What's your PIN number? No, we won't go into that one. So, talking to Brad Paisley, though, very, very, very quickly, and I explained this yesterday when I was speaking to, who was I talking to yesterday? Mia Ardenez. And at C2C, myself and James from Live in the Living Room, we were doing some press there, and I got to meet Brad. Very, very briefly. I was in we were in the press room, and a guy from Smooth came over and said, look, we're gonna be doing an interview with Brad now, so you need to be quiet. I was like, yeah, absolutely, that's not a problem at all. Phone's out straight away, and then all the minders just started like edging towards me, and I was like, oh, great, here we go. But I was bigger than these guys. I could have taken them, and but. Fair play to Brad. I put my hand underneath the line, and he gave me a fist bump. So I'm more than happy with that.
Oh, so, yeah. You see, now that is so Brad Paisley. That's it. I knew he's never going to let you down. Like they say, never meet your heroes, but I bet he's the one hero you could meet.
Yeah.
And he would just be a dude.
Yeah.
He just strikes me as so grounded. And well, that's great, man. So please. Can I fist bump your fist bumped Brad Paisley hand?
There we
please?
go. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'll just do it there. There we go. Rob, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Hopefully, you will come back again at some point.
I'd be honoured to. Thank you.
Because you've got to defend your title at some point. You are the king of what do they know at the moment? 17, possibly 18 points. I will confirm that later on. You'll see it on the show anyway. It will say whether there's. People will be like, oh, it says 18 anyway.
You need a VAR check. You need a VAR check graphic go on the screen, and like a referee blowing his whistle like that.
I'll tell you what, at the very end of this, I will put the actual question up so we can find out whether I did say it or not. So we'll let you know whether it was 17 or 18 coming up at the end of this show. Rob, you've been absolutely fantastic. I can't thank you enough. Sorry about all the technical hiccups, but it's been a great show. So
man, it happens. We got there. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
good luck. I can't wait to see your next episode.
Yes, absolutely. Get my next person is Alan Finlan. I don't normally tell people beforehand, but Alan is the next guest on the show.
Can I just say good luck, Alan? You're gonna need it.
Yeah,
You
you
ain't
see,
beat at 17.
see, he's got another of my favourite subjects, but I'm not going to say what that is yet. So you'll have to tune in and find out. Seriously, Rob, it's been fantastic. I hope we can work together again in the future. And good luck with everything that's coming up. And we will catch you soon. So take care.
Thank you so much, Paul. Take care. Thank you.
Which was the first album released as a double EP?
Magical Mystery Tour.
That's correct.